Medal of Honor games are always about capturing the authenticity. There's the fun game part, and then there's the stories from the people who actually did it and that were there.
Okay, here we go.
Having interviews, following veterans, getting a chance to see their lives and see their experiences, that history was always going to be part of it because that is core to the franchise and it's really important.
It gives you drive to do the best job that you possibly can.
Four years ago, Peter called me and said that we're reviving Medal of Honor. Wasn't really determined what we were going to do beyond the fact that it had to include speaking with veterans.
The gallery is a feature that we had in the original Medal of Honor over 20 years ago. And just like we're taking the gameplay and the experience the player's having to a whole new level, we thought, can we do the same thing with the gallery?
We wanted to make a series of films that both brought the past into the clear focus of today, and we wanted to do that in unique ways through the perspective of people who were involved in World War II.
That's a piece of shrapnel.
Those early trips where we followed them to Washington, D.C., to the World War II Museum in New Orleans, sitting down with them on stage in Brooklyn to do a day of interviews with them. Out of those conversations, that's where the idea of taking them back to Europe really came about.
This is a spot, and they had two gates that we sort of pushed through.
We really wanted to make sure that there was some emotional core to these stories that would help everyone really remember them.
These were people's brothers, sisters, moms and dads, or sons and daughters.
There's a heaviness in the human soul when you listen to these veterans talk about their experiences and these civilians who were just trying to live through the war.
You understand at a deep level that what they went through when they were kids was something that they didn't want anybody else to go through.
After the war, my thought was, you promised him, you owe it to him. It's an obligation. And I've got to live up to the obligation.
Before the gallery pieces really even started coming in, we knew what the whole game was.
Things absolutely will seep in. Not specific plot points or mission beats, but the way that they reacted emotionally, like capturing that tone.
You can link that to your own experience in the game and then appreciate what they did and how important it is that they did it in the way that they did it.
It's not hard to look at these pieces and say, I can imagine myself right there.
When we kicked this off, we thought, wouldn't it be great to take a VR camera, a 360 camera, to these places where history happened.
Our BTS crew brought Soupy out, sat him on the beach of Normandy, and Soupy sat and worked on the game.
While I was sitting there, opening up the editor, looking back at the cliffs, and then realizing what I made was way too small. It didn't capture the scale and magnitude of what those men were up against when they landed on that beach. And what did come out of that was a different appreciation for what they were up against.
The fight in Europe in World War II was a fight against evil. It was a fight against oppression. And unfortunately, those things never seem to leave the world.
We're still discriminating people based on their color or their religion. And when you look at this gallery, it just reminds you of how the people dealt with similar problems 70 years ago.
If our gallery pieces makes someone say, oh, that's kind of interesting, I want to know more about that, I think that we've really done our job.
Hopefully the current generation can draw some inspiration from the generations that fought years ago. And just the way that we're hopefully delivering a really fun gameplay experience that people haven't had before, we're hopefully bringing them these stories of these veterans that will help illuminate the world that everyone lives in today.
I love the fact that young people are going to be introduced to this history, I mean, in an engaging way, but also on an emotional level.
Everyday people can do extraordinary things when presented with a challenge that needs to be overcome.
Having gone on these journeys with each of these vets, it's been an incredible honor and privilege for them to share their story with us, and we couldn't be happier now to show these stories to players at home.
You want to hear the rest of the story?